Alright, YouTube, garden overhaul update number 2. All the other stakes have been put in. There are 2 of these smaller ones in between every large stake. You can see I got the tire just propped up there for no reason. Everything's looking pretty good. I still got to do all the bed work in here, but back here, it's a different story. I've almost completed leveling this off. As you can see, this border is going to be nice. It's going to be raised up, almost a foot. And I'm going to dig all this out, even it off, put some pea stones in, have a couple steps there, have a couple steps there. This whole thing's going to be one big bed. That soil is mostly, compost anyway, to half a foot or so. It's amazingly fertile soil. You can see the size of these horseradish plants. That one I think is only on its 2nd year and it's already huge. But the bed will be brought out, but I'm not going to bring it quite as far out, maybe only a foot, because I don't want it to be too big. Honestly, I'll have too much room. If I prepare too much, I won't be able to maintain it. I have that problem because I'm always seeking to expand, and I don't take stock of how much room I actually have. This, I cut off the corner just to bring it a little further from the power line and also to straighten it out. And here, it's going to be brick, and it's actually going to be raised up another level. So there will be a raised bed, and then the center will be raised but not quite as much. And then here where the compost is, when that rots down, I'm going to have a circle here that'll be the same. And those posts in there, I'll just have like morning glory growing around them or something. That's just sort of for decoration. But see how nice and clean it looks compared to before, where there was all that brush or like little bushes and berry plants and so forth. I got to haul everything out. This all has to be hacked apart. I'll probably just scatter it around, and then under it there's some, you can see, grass. I have to take that out. But that's, this bed's now more than half done, basically, honestly. Once it gets all dug out here, which shouldn't be too much of trouble, because some of that grass there is kind of dead anyway, because I had stuff laying on it like bits of wood and so forth, so it won't be that difficult to remove. Once that's all dug out, I need to get more bricks, make the sides, and on this side it'll be brick also. I've decided that. I want it to look nice. And so the gap here will actually be about 9 feet, which is okay. And then this is, again, right along here is where the fence will end. This will be cut off. All the perennials that are in here, I'm going to mow that down. I'm not even going to bother saving those perennials. Honestly, I had a few lilies in here, but it's too much work to bother. There's some irises. I might take some of the irises out because those got large. And then this little bush thing, I am going to save that because that's a really nice plant. It blossoms for half of forever. But all the other stuff in here kind of got overwhelmed. You can see I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to mow it down. I want to save it, but at the same time, I got so many perennials in the triangular beds alone. It's like, what's the point? I wouldn't have room enough. So what I'm going to end up having, this patch here, of course, is horseradish. And when that gets raised up, I'm actually going to move a couple more of the plants in there. That'll be sort of a little horseradish patch. In the middle, on one side, it'll be mostly rhubarb. And on the back, I'm going to have alternating irises and lilies and lupin. And then on this side, I'll put in some chamomile. And then that stump there, what I plan to do, and I may or may not get around to this before spring, is I plan to cut it out in here, make a hollow spot, sort of cut this side too, fill it with some dirt and use it like it's a planter. And I'd like to have something nice in there. Maybe I'll move that fern in there and just have a nice big fern sprouting out of the top. I want to put in like a little sign, like put a sign that says Hobbiton on it or something so it'll look cute. I do like decorating like that. I like sort of rustic things. I like wood, stone, things like that in the garden. I don't like plastic. I don't like formality. I like a cottage garden sort of style. I like to mix things together. I don't like monoculture. You can see the total fenced-in area is not that reduced. When you consider that this corner is all going to be dirt, that this bed will be wider, that those beds will be longer, it's actually more dirt that will be available because the total amount added will be far greater than this one bed that could have been like agricultural. And plus the back, because it'll be where all the perennials are, a lot of the dirt in the main part of the garden will be freed up, actually. Now I'm going to have to compost the interior wherever I take any perennials out. Like when I rip that out, there's going to be a hole about 2 feet wide and at least a couple feet deep from that. And then I'll separate it. That'll be where I get the irises from primarily, because there are actually two different types. And I want to have both back there. This one here is not quite as attractive, to me anyway. It's the little white ones, it goes by faster. That one over there has the big purple ones, if I remember correctly. I like the purple ones better. It's actually a Gothic flower variety, so I appreciate that. And then chamomile-wise, this bed will be smaller, and what I'm going to do actually is this will be all chamomile. That will be the herb bed. This one, I don't know what I'll put in there. It's going to get partial shade, at least in the morning when it's done. So I got to keep that in mind. Maybe I'll use that as the herb patch, and this will just be sort of decorative, the one flower area inside. These four, once they're done, will be for the vegetables. And then once this is moved, you can see these taller stakes denote where the gate will be. So as you can see, the main path in cuts right through this bed, and it cuts it off to about there. So that bed will end up being about the same size as this. That bed, meanwhile, is brought out. All that extra brick and stuff will be used to elongate that bed, so I won't have to pay anything extra for that. It's actually got fairly new brick comparatively under it. You can see also, there is chamomile already sprouting all over the garden. Those crowns turn into the giant plants that I work with. And there are going to be many, many more blossoming, trust me, all over the garden. It's impossible to kill it. You can't get rid of it. It seeds freely everywhere. Things come and nibble it, carry the seeds around. They sprout in random locations. So I want to have a lot of chamomile. It doesn't really compete with other things. But this, right now, is basically the showpiece of the garden. It's going to be done first. What I plan to do when I get my next infusion of cash, so to speak, which won't be long, by now a few days. I'm going to get the chicken wire that I need, and I'm going to get the extra bricks and the cow shit for this bed. I'm going to finish this off while I install the fence, and once that's done in spring, all I have to worry about is reconfiguring the interior beds. I will, the one bed that's currently sticking out of the garden, which is the front side bed here with the sunflowers, that one I'll have to fix this fall. None of the rest of the additions am I going to really worry about. You can see that's where the fence is going to be. That's where the edge of the path will be. It comes almost to the bricks. Really, the bed will begin about there, where that metal stake is, and go to the side of the gate. It'll be almost exactly the same size. It'll just be accessible from both sides, making it easier to maintain. It'll be longer. It'll come out probably to about here. And then the gap in the middle will be here, and these beds will terminate roughly here, about an extra yard of room. So it'll be longer and thinner, easier to maintain. You can see there's a nice sunset over there. Well, you can't really see it that well, but, you know, whatever. So the garden is looking up. I have finally gotten around, after all these years, to doing all the maintenance that I wanted to do. Oh, Jesus, it's like a chamomile bush. That one there is just barely flowering. That'll probably be flowering. Oh, this one is too. Sometimes you get a second flowering. I'll probably flower into October. The frost doesn't kill them. The frost doesn't do anything to the blossoms, really, until it's a really deep frost. Now, I've still got more wooden stakes. I gotta figure out what the hell I'm gonna do with them. Maybe put them on the other side of the bed out there. Maybe stretch a wire around and have like a morning glories all the way around the perennials. That might look okay. There's some tomatoes in there. Tomatoes everywhere. There's too many tomatoes almost. These Nicotiana are full bloom. Some of them haven't even begun to bloom yet. It's a very strange year as far as plants go, really. You can see, I'll leave you with an image of what the crows did to the corn. That would have been nice. Eat that. Thanks. I like crows and ravens and all that stuff. They're very gothic, they're very dark and spooky, but yeah, that's a problem. That one's probably still edible. Kind of. Might just rip the rest of that out. Honestly, just chop it up, put it in the compost. But this, yeah, I'm going to mow this down probably tomorrow. I'm not going to bother. I'm tired of this shit, and that tree has to either be removed or moved. I'm not sure yet. I can't even remember what kind of tree this is, but it's got some sort of problem with it on top. So maybe I'll just chop it off at the bottom and throw it in the woods. It's going to be some good stuff, but yeah, it's going to be a lot more attractive than it was last year. A lot more productive too without the rabbits. That's about all.